Peace. How you guys doing? It's your boy Free Play, and we're back with another video. I know it's been a minute, but I've been working hard. I've been doing a lot of sessions in the recording studio, recording other artists. As you guys know, I'm also a professional audio engineer here in New York City. So this last month of March 2024, whenever you guys are watching this, was really busy for me, thank God, with a lot of audio recording sessions. And another thing that I took on, which I'll talk more about in another video, is acting. So I started doing a lot of background acting just to get my foot into that field, and it's something that I have a lot of interest in as a creative. You know, I have aspirations of like writing my own films and directing, filming, and acting in my own movies in the future. So I've been also doing a side mission, as some people say, in that respect. And I've been, doing some gigs here and there. Obviously, the extra money helps for all of us independent gig workers and creatives. So that's something that's been keeping me busy. But unfortunately, as an indirect result, it's been leading me to not be able to do these videos because they do take a lot of time to film and edit. And I do apologize to the community that's been growing slowly but surely, and I enjoy these videos that I haven't been able to get to them. But today, I have something pretty cool for you guys. I was ordering some stuff off of Amazon, and I actually needed, a certain amount to get free shipping. And I started looking at some things that I had saved in my cart from a while back, and I was able to buy this, and this came in the mail last week, I think, and it's called Drumbreaks Original Break Beats, and it has 56 drum breaks and 2 drum solos. I already opened it and started listening to it, and it's pretty fire. It has break beats, so it's straight drums. Some of them are patterned, some of them are just freestyled and stuff, but they sound really good quality. And obviously it's a vinyl, so I'm gonna be able to sample this into my ASR or my MPC or any sampler that I want, the way I have everything connected basically. So yeah, man, I know a lot of the recent things that have been talked about as of late has been the Akai has released the stems for their newer samplers. So I know a lot of people are excited about that. As you guys know, if you do follow the channel, I don't have one of the newer units, so I don't have access to stems. I do own a legal license to FL Studio, and they had announced stems in December, I believe, of 2023. And I've experimented with them. I can't say that I've even really used it in any of my productions, like instrumentals or my own songs, but it's there, and it sounds pretty good. I also have used, and this is a gem if you guys know what I'm talking about, I've used Serato Studio, which is free, and they had stems too. I don't know how long they've had it for, but I've used their stems because I thought it sounded a little bit cleaner than FL, although I haven't compared them as of late. But I used it to deliver a clean acapella, not a clean acapella, but basically to remove an acapella from a recording and deliver a clean version to a client of a song that had curses in it. So I separated the vocals and the instrumental and, muted out and did my thing with the vocals by itself. So it was pretty helpful in that use case. I'm sure that people are going to be doing a lot of cool things with stems. Is it the end all be all? I don't think so. A lot of these newer features have kind of been around for a minute now. They just haven't been around directly inside a machine, like a MPC or another sampler. So that is something very cutting edge, if you will. I know AI has had vocal and stem separation available really early on when we started seeing that AI technology come into the music world. And even some DJ controllers. I've been researching a lot of DJ controllers because it's something that I kind of want to dip my feet in, playing music and stuff like that. And I know like a lot of controllers now, like Pioneer and other brands, like they have stems already. So I guess it's something that's really like, when something comes into like it becomes trendy in the producer community. I think that has been one of the things that has been like trending, like stems. I keep hearing a lot about it. So there is a lot of power in having like the individual sounds of things. This was a way that, in theory, stems has been used in the producer community a long time. They had like the ultimate beats and breaks. I know that was like a vinyl thing. Dusty Fingers, which was like really old school, that was released on digital, as well as like I think there was vinyls of that made. And it's basically like some DJs that were able to get like break beats from songs, get them put into vinyl, and had it printed into vinyl, But this is kind of my way of doing stems. Is like, all right, I got break beats by themselves. I don't have to look for them on records. Hopefully these are not copyright strike like prone. And then I could just start working with my own samples or sample packs that don't have like copyright restrictions. Because obviously, like I mentioned before, that's a big thing with YouTube. It's like you could get demonetized and penalized for using stuff from vinyl. I have a lot of vinyl here. I have a crate like by my foot here. I got a bunch of 45s here. It's probably not in the frame. And in my bedroom, I have like a whole rack that has like a bunch of sections, and that's all filled up with vinyl that I've either collected or have been gifted from other people that know I do music. But I was talking to one of my OGs too, like just to go into a little bit of a story time before we chop up some drums from this. This video is going to be mostly about me chopping these breaks, or a couple of them, on the ASR, and just show you guys some of the ways I approach drum chopping and just chopping in general on the ASR 10. We may make a full beat out of it, but it might just be some chopping up these breaks on this and listening back to them. But I was talking to an OG of mine, and he was like talking to me about the new Akai stems, and he was having like such a hard time. Again, it could have been just because, he's more of a musician. He's not into all this computer stuff. And he was like 3 or 4 days into just getting that to work. And, that's, to me, that's the thing that kind of scares me off, or just like turns me off from some of these newer machines. It's like the amount of time that it takes to like download, update firmware, and like get all these things into like working mode before you could get creative. And a lot of the reason why I like to keep things the same, or like master what I already have, even with newer features. Sometimes I don't update my DAW, or like get a newer version update of a plugin that I already have installed and it's kind of working well, is because of the downtime, man. And I feel like that takes away from our creativity and our productivity. And that's not to say that you shouldn't be updating. Obviously that's a good feature to have, especially if you already own one of these newer machines. But I go, even sometimes I like just surfing on my phone through the forums, like the MPC communities and the Akai the Akai, the Akai MPC forums on Facebook. And I see so many people struggling to install and to like get things up and running. And that's kind of like the thing that puts me off. I mean, I haven't even seen what it's like to work in a newer MPC. Like, I haven't even gone into like watching a tutorial on any of these. If Akai ends up sending me one to test it out and see how, like, somebody that's used to the old school thing, I'll do it for the channel and for you guys. But I don't know. I like my workflow. I like my workflow that I built just by learning what I already have. And in the digital world, I've been locked in with, either Ableton or FL and Pro Tools when I'm tracking artists. So it's like, I know there's newer DAWs, there's newer things. I mean, FL is pretty up to date and has full featured functions that if you want to do something completely in the box, Ableton or FL definitely has you covered. And most of the stuff that I go outside of the digital realm for is just for flavor. and obviously nostalgia, workflow, like working on these machines. Once you get it, it becomes like really fun way of creating. And that's all I need. I don't, sometimes I'm like, damn, should I get a SP404, the Mark II, or that Teenage Engineering one? Calculator was looking kind of cool. But, I'm so obsessed with this thing, with production, that before I buy anything, like QC, quality control, durability, longevity, like a lot of stuff goes into like my thought process before putting, like money into stuff, you know what I mean? And I get that from my parents and the way I was raised. It's just like when you invest in something, like it better be worth it, like even something that's like cheap, or not cheap, but like this mic is like $100 mic, but it's like the industry standard dynamic mic. Like I like to get the industry standard of mostly anything I buy, simply because like I know that industry standard a lot of times is, it's not the right way to go for everybody, but there's a reason, like durability, reliability, quality output. Like, if you get, I don't have a Technics 1200, but like if I get a turntable, that's probably the turntable I would buy, because it just works, and that takes away from you having to deal with troubleshooting, downtime, things getting broken if you're doing something at a professional level or in a live setting. So that's kind of like what I go by. Like I don't have my watch on right now, but I have a G-Shock. I love that watch. I've had an Apple Watch and it didn't work for me. I had the first gen because I worked at the actual Apple store for a little while, a couple of years back, and I don't need all that stuff. I realized like a G-Shock is fine with me, and with everything I'm like that. Like I like the utility of the standard thing that just is like that watch. For example, I've had it since 2007, I want to say. So it's like 17 years and I haven't even had to change the battery on it. So I don't know, I'm like one of those type of dudes that I just like the if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But anyways, didn't want to rant too long on this one. Let's see what's in here. I didn't hear the whole thing. I started on the B side, so I'm gonna start on the A side today. Listen back to some loops, put them in the ASR, chop them up, and let's have some fun. Happy to be back on the channel doing some more videos for you guys, and thank y'all for rocking me. It's your boy Free Play. We're gonna be in the ASR. Peace. So we're here in front of the ASR 10, and I did this one a little bit different. I cooked up a beat for you guys before, just so I could explain the elements that I had on it, because I feel like a lot of what's making these videos a little longer is that I'm making these beats on the spot, and sometimes they're keepers, sometimes they're throwaways, but I like to learn from all my mistakes and keep everything I make if I can. But I also like to talk about something which is called like detachment, and basically not being too like as the word says, attached to your creations, because all of these are tools and these things could go wrong in any second. So I actually made 2 beats with the Drumbreak vinyl that I have, and the first one I didn't really like, I wasn't messing with it, so I just turned off the ASR 10. And a lot of people that have samplers will tell you that sometimes you don't make something good and you just turn it off and start fresh. And I think that's something cool about these machines and this approach of not like getting too attached to your beats, but keeping the good ones. And I think I made a dope beat off a sample that I had on my laptop, and I took a drum break from the vinyl that I showed you guys in the intro. And I've been away from my samplers for a couple of days. I've been cooking a lot on the laptop lately, and getting back in the groove of things. I felt like the first beat wasn't like some of my best work, so I only like to keep the stuff that I'm messing with, and this is what I'm messing with. I labeled all the elements. So here I got the break, and let's see, I got this is the break right here. Okay, And for that, I just sampled it straight off of the vinyl, I think at 44. And I did do the convert sample rate to like 12, I think. And then I did do some like filtering. I have this filter on it with these settings, and I'm just working by ear. I probably, adjusted the volume, did a little mixing inside the ASR, and I think I boosted most of my drums. Yeah, and I have it on bus 3 because I actually have an effects. I have this effects on the sample. So anything that I don't want going through that effect, I put it on bus 3 because that's dry. If you go here, bus 3 is dry, or at least that's, yeah, you can see it says it right there, bus 3. So anything I don't want going through that delay, I just send it to bus 3. So like my drums are going through the bus 3. This sample, which is from a sample pack, and I pitched it down inside of FL, and I time stretched it from the original tempo. I time stretched it to fit the drum loop. And the way that I did the drum loop is that I got a 1 bar out of that whole break that I was messing with, and it went something like, let's see. And I just figured out what was the tempo between that, and I time stretched the sample. And I started this one with the drums, and I think that's something I've been doing a lot when I mess with samples, because I feel like when you lock into a groove, you're already in a winning position. And then the sample was something that I looked through my sample packs, and I felt like it fit this beat. And I think that I left the pitch modulation on it, yeah, and I sent it through that effect, and I also did some filtering with a different filter inside the ASR, and I don't think I did boost the sample, but I also did like adjusted the levels, and as you guys saw, that's going through the effect. Then here I have this perk loop, and that's just adding like some rhythm to the whole beat. And I think that I didn't boost that, and I also filtered that with this a bit. So it's all about giving it like the effects of the ASR and the flavor. When you use these things, it's gonna, obviously change the way your samples sound. This is a clap that's just layered over the drum break, and basically that's going through the delay. Yeah, so I have that going through the delay that the sample's going through, because I just wanted that for like impact, and I adjusted the volume of that. And I do have it going through this filter, which is different than the samples going through, and different settings using by ear as I was listening back. And then I have a hi-hat sample, which I played and didn't quantize. And I think I just sampled the hi-hat from my computer, and then I found the pitch, and I think I used this pitch here for the hi-hat. And that's going through a filter as well, just cutting some lows and some highs. And I felt this was a setting by ear that sounded the best. Again, every sample is going to be different, and that wasn't boosted, I believe. Oh, it is. Yeah, I usually boost most of my drums. And then this is a kick layer that plays through the sample, and again, I probably played it like at a certain pitch, because I just sampled this from my computer. So I played that over the sample, and I do believe that that's probably getting filtered exactly. And I do boost most of my kicks all the time. That's going through the bus 3 dry, most likely, yep. And the volume is like probably the loudest element. And then the last element I added, which was weird because the sample already had a bass line. I just felt like it needed a little bit more sub. So I sampled this 808 into my ASR, and I layered it like very low on the overall beat. and then I'll just get to playing the beat for you guys. For this, I adjusted the volume. It's going through the dry bus, and it's most likely getting filtered. Exactly. So I used a little low pass just to cut some of the top off on the 808 sample, because I didn't want it to be too noticeable on this beat. And now I'll play the beat back for you guys on how I kind of had it arranged. It was, I mean, I'm tracking it now, but I would have it start off with just a sample, and this is how the beat sounds. So I hope y'all rocking with it. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I try to put some different camera angles with the GoPro and see how this one turns out, and hopefully you guys could see the screen of the ASR, because I think that's the most important part as you guys learn like the different elements that go into making a beat. Even if you're using loops and breaks, just use the effects and the EQ of the ASR and the built-in effects before you track it into your computer to give it that flavor of the ASR. And locking in the drums in the beginning with the right tempo of the overall beat will help you beat match your samples using your computer or whatever DJ software, however you know how to beat match, and see how different elements come together, drum breaks, drums, and layering those things. So there's 7 elements in these beats. In this beat specifically, you could go add more stuff in the computer if you want, VSTs, but I'd usually just rock with whatever I made that day and take it from there. If another producer hears some stuff and wants to add to it, then, but yeah, let's go, man. Thank y'all for rocking with me. As your boy Free Play.